Rexy's Giggle-Saurus problem. Deep in the biggest, greenest valley, where ferns grew taller than houses and volcanoes puffed little clouds of smoke, lived a baby Tyrannosaurus Rex named Rexy. Now you might think a T-Rex would be big and scary, but little Rexy was still small enough to play hide-and-seek behind a giant mushroom. Rexy loved to stomp and rumble, pretending to be as mighty as his mama. But Rexy had a secret, a very, very ticklish secret. He had the wiggliest, most giggly tummy in the whole valley. Every morning when the sun warmed the big dino eggs, Rexy would wake up with a stretch and a yawn. Then his friend, a little pterodactyl named Pip, would swoop down. "Good morning, Rexy," Pip would chirp, landing on Rexy's nose. "Ready to play?" "Ready!" Rexy would roar, but it always came out sounding more like a happy burble. One sunny day, Rexy and Pip were playing their favorite game, Follow the Flutterbug. A beautiful, sparkly butterfly was fluttering through the giant flowers, and Rexy, with his tiny arms and big legs, was trying to follow it. Stomp, stomp, stomp. The butterfly landed on a tall, wobbly flower. "Oh," said Pip, "it's on a giggle blossom." Rexy had heard of giggle blossoms. They were pretty, but if you touched them, they sent out a puff of super tickly pollen. "No, no, Flutterbug," Rexy whispered to the butterfly, but the butterfly just wiggled its wings. Rexy took a big step, reaching out one of his tiny arms. He meant to gently shoo the butterfly away from the giggle blossom, but oops! His foot slipped on a wet leaf, and Rexy tumbled right into the middle of the flower patch. Poof! A big cloud of sparkling, tickly pollen burst out from the giggle blossoms. It went right up Rexy's nose, it landed on his big bumpy knees, and worst of all, it settled right on his wiggliest, most giggly tummy. Hee-hee-ho-ho-ho-ho-ho! He started to laugh, a deep, rumbling, uncontrollable Giggle-Saurus laugh. He wiggled and jiggled, his whole body shaking with giggles. Pip soared above him, giggling too. "Rexy, you're a Giggle-Saurus!" Rexy rolled onto his back, his little T-Rex arms flailing in the air. "I can't stop!" He laughed so hard, tears rolled down his big dino cheeks. Just then, a wise old brontosaurus named Professor Longneck strolled by. He looked down at the jiggling and laughing Rexy. "Ah, the giggle blossoms," Professor Longneck rumbled kindly. "They can be quite effective. What you need, little Rexy, is a calm down cloud." "A what?" Rexy squeaked between giggles. "Follow me," Professor Longneck said. He led Rexy, who was still wobbling and giggling, to a sparkling waterfall. "Now," said Professor Longneck, "take a very deep breath, and when you let it out, pretend you are a big, gentle cloud floating slowly, slowly across the sky." Rexy tried. He took a giant whoosh of air in. Then he tried to let it out like a cloud. Phoo! Pooh! The giggles got a little quieter. "Again," said Professor Longneck, "imagine the cloud is floating right over the waterfall so all the tickles can wash away." Rexy took another deep dino breath. Phoo! Shh! He let it out, imagining the tickles drifting away like steam from a hot spring. He took another and another, focusing on being a calm, slow cloud. Slowly, slowly, the tickles on his tummy began to fade. The giggles started to shrink, from big hoots to little snorts, then to just tiny wiggles. Finally, Rexy let out one last soft "hoo!" and then no more giggles. He sat up, blinking. "It worked!" he gasped, rubbing his tummy. "No more tickles!" "You see, Rexy," said Professor Longneck, "sometimes when things are too much, a deep breath and a calm mind can make all the tickles float away." Rexy smiled, his big, friendly T-Rex smile. "Thank you, Professor Longneck, and thank you, Pip, for giggling with me." From that day on, Rexy still loved to play and even sometimes got a little ticklish. But now he knew if he ever got a Giggle-Saurus problem again, all he had to do was take a big, deep, calm down cloud breath and everything would be just right. The end.